Ninth commandment, thou shalt not bear false witness. Christ gave us this definition in the New Testament, the story of the Good Samaritan. He showed mercy to his neighbor. And who was his neighbor? Whoever that's needed help. His neighbor is the person next to him. It's applicable to this ninth commandment. If you have mercy on your neighbor, you're not going to bear false witness against them. You're not going to be doing slander, lies, name calling, tale bearing, gossip. You're not going to do these things. In fact, you're going to protect his good name. And if his name's not good, then what you're going to do is go talk to him about it. They ruin a man's reputation and he's wrecks his family. And it's just, if the guy is a criminal, then the proper authorities need to know. If the guy is doing wrong, you protect the people around you from this individual and make sure his evil is known to the proper authorities. You don't put up with it. Now you hear a lot of people say, oh, you have to love them. You have to be kind. And so they worship sodomy. They have an entire month praising and glorifying sodomy, which is sin. Which is sin. And it should not be, and it should be opposed. Not violently in the streets. Go talk to your legislatures. Go talk to your city council, your county commission. Get it changed. If you can't get it changed, replace those people. They're not proper representatives. Thank you. Now, in the documents of destruction, page 27 to 28, we get some quotes from communist leaders. Joseph Stalin: infiltrate the press, get control of book review assignments, editorial writing, policy-making position. Print is the sharpest and strongest weapon of our party. Vladimir Lenin: get control of key positions in radio, TV, and motion pictures. Of all the arts, for us, the cinema is the most important. So everything, they've taken over the audio, visual, and print industries, and the party line is in it. Look what Disney's doing with transgender, same-sex stuff. Totally wrong. Look what the print's doing in censoring anything contrary to what Fauci and Gallo are saying, and holding people up as disinformation disseminators. And they want to start a ministry of truth, shades of 1984. Vladimir Lenin: we can and must write in a language which sows among the masses hate, revolution, and scorn toward those who disagree with us. Again, Lenin: the press should not only be a collective propagandist and collective agitator, it's also a collective organizer of the masses. Sounds like BLM and Antifa, doesn't it? Why should freedom of speech and freedom of the press be allowed? Why should a government which is doing what it believes is right allow itself to be criticized? It would not allow opposition by lethal weapons. Ideas are much more fatal than guns. Why should any man be allowed to buy a printing press and disseminate pernicious opinions calculated to embarrass the government? Lenin: control the press, control the opposition, the book reviews, control the internet, control Twitter, Facebook, Google, control. Wow, everything's about control, isn't it? There are no morals in politics. There's only expedience. A scoundrel may be as used to us just because he is a scoundrel. Lenin. This is Rushton and the Institute's good guy. The press, for almost 2 centuries, has been a major threat to freedom rather than an asset to it. The newly gained immunity from status interference was rapidly interpreted to mean anarchy. And the press has an ugly history of abuse of power. It has consistently borne false witness and deemed it right to do so as freedom of the press. Thank you, Rushdoony. Now, the media, news, and politicians aren't the only one involved in making money by lying. Robert Gallo and Anthony Fauci made fabrication legal and institutionalized in science. You need to read The Real Anthony Fauci by Robert Kennedy, a big Democrat. Okay, Ted Kennedy's nephew. When Fauci says, "I am science," you know immediately that science is not open for debate. Science is not give and pull. Science is not to change but according to the orthodoxy. It's no longer a robust discussion. It is a theology. It is an orthodoxy. And the high priest will censor you if you violate the established narrative. But look, other places in science. Global warming, fabrication. Evolution, fabrication. Fossil fuels come from fossils, fabrication. Look at the science. Thousands of scientists disagree with these things, and yet now they're still pushed. Wow. Back in the 1960s, two apostles went to BYU and said, "Some people are teaching things contrary to the gospel. Please stop or go elsewhere." They neither stopped nor did they go elsewhere. They remained where they were and became department chairs. Just an example. If you believe in evolution and you're a department chair, you will only hire science teachers that support your point of view, evolution. You will not hire science teachers that don't believe in what you believe. Also, if you're already in the program and you're an assistant professor like a friend of mine, and you are publishing contrary information, then the journals, the professional journals, won't publish your material. You're not published. You're not published. You are not promoted. And eventually you're let go. And so next thing you know, everybody is talking about global warming, fossil fuels, evolution, and the pharmaceutical fabrications created by Fauci and Gallo. It's very interesting, the direction in which we're headed. This is 1984 all over again. Now, they've now come out with a transhuman, and go to DeVos and see Klaus's #1 scientist, and he talks about transhumanism. If you haven't heard about it, let me say transhumanism is a way of thinking about the future based on the premise that human species in its current form does not represent the end of our development, but rather a comparatively early phase. This is true because all humans will be resurrected, glorified, and some will be exalted. So this is just the beginning, our choice phase. So you might say we're transhumanism. The difference is this is a counterfeit. This is Satan's counterfeit. In fact, Klaus wants to put computers in people to correct their behavior and make them more compatible with the forthcoming 2030 UN agenda. It's amazing. Transhumanism, loosely defined movement that has gradually developed over the past 2 decades. It's a class of philosophies of life that seek the continuation and acceleration of evolution of intelligent life beyond its current human form and human limitations by means of science and technology, guided by life-promoting principles and values. What is transhumanism.org? So our lives will be enhanced by science and technology within us as well as without us. That's Max Moore, 1980. Artificial intelligence and robots. This is amazing what people are doing. They're putting it in factories and stores. There are even instances which seem to be increasing of humans falling in love with their AI female counterparts. Now, it of course seems to be happening. No child is forthcoming yet, but they have promised us that children can be created with a computer. Remember the Stepford Wives? Go back and watch it. Go to Tech. Japan releases fully functioning female robots, 33. Also, 6 new female robots released, future partner or personal assistant. It's amazing. These women, these computerized women, can do everything a woman can do. Talk, think, they respond to you, their facial, their touch, their feel. Intimacies. Wait a minute. Doesn't this counterfeit God's human creation? Doesn't this in transhumanism counterfeit? Isn't this Satan's counterfeit? Now, all this technology, advancement, I think it comes from God. But God just gives us the technology. We decide if we want to use it for good or bad. We decide how we want to use it. Personally, when you talk about robots for war, I'm into it. Vietnam, 68, 69. I'm tired of it. Hey, have a robot go do it. I'll stay at home. Thank you. I'll eat my Haagen-Dazs. Thank you. Now, in 1839, Dr. Cummins 123, we're instructed as an imperative duty that we owe to God, to angels with whom we shall be brought to stand, ourselves, our wives, and children who have been made to bow down with grief, sorrow, and care in the most standing hand of murder, tyranny, and oppression, supported, urged, and upheld by the influence of that spirit. This is not a good spirit. This spirit supporting murder, tyranny, and oppression is not a good spirit. This is Satan. Okay? That has so strongly riveted the creeds of the fathers upon the hearts of the children. I worked with metal for a while, and we had machines that would separate. But if 2 pieces of metal are joined by a rivet, I have actually torn metal before I broke the rivet. When it's riveted, it is there. And these false traditions are riveted upon the hearts of the children. How? Because your dad did it. My mom and dad did it. And you're saying they're wrong. You're saying they're a lie. You're saying you and I can step outside and we'll go fisticuffs and see what's happening. Okay? My grandparents, what's wrong with you? Extrapolate that. My bishop, stake president, society president, young women leader, my school teacher, my business partner, my friends, my neighbors, my relatives, they all believe these things. I get it from the government. I get it from every institution. How can it be wrong? They've riveted these false traditions, these lies upon our hearts. Let's see what else we're told in Doctrine and Covenants 123. That spirit riveted the creeds of the fathers who have inherited lies. This is in 1839. Upon the hearts of the children, filled the world with confusion. This was back in 1839. Do you think it's any better today, or you think it's extrapolated or increased and intensified because of technology, because of generations of doing this and believing this? It's been growing stronger and stronger, of course, the very mainspring of all corruption. False traditions are not ancillary, secondary, come lately springs. They are the mainspring of all corruption. What kind of corruption? Family, generational, societal, institutional, schools, government, business, industry, agricultural, labor unions, economics, philosophy, psychology, medicine, science, these false ideas, these false traditions, some of which we previously discussed. The whole earth groans under the weight of its iniquity. Why does the whole earth groans? Because the whole earth is a living spirit. It was created pure by God, and this earth obeys God minutely and explicitly. It says move, God says move, and the dust moves. Split the water, and the water splits. Congeal, and I can walk on it. The earth obeys God explicitly. We don't. We pick and choose. We decide what we want to do. We evaluate it by our false traditions, which, by the way, we believe to be true. The earth will be celestialized. Many of us won't. Now, this is what the Lord says. Matthew 6:23. But if thine eye be evil, why in the world is thine eye evil? You grew up in the Lord's church. Your eye is evil because you grew up with false traditions also. You fail to follow the prophets, you fail to read the scriptures, you fail to read the enzyme, and as a result, you're led away into false traditions. You don't judge your school curriculum by the scriptures. You don't judge your job by the scriptures. I've left 3 employments, careers, because eventually I got around to evaluate them with the scriptures, and guess what? Everything I was doing was wrong. I spent my life promoting evil institutionally with my job, making money and providing for my family. Yeah. I wonder how that's going to work out in judgment. Anyway, thy whole body shall be full of darkness. If therefore the light within thee, wait a minute, if the light within me, what is my light? My light is my religion, my beliefs, my thoughts, my words, my actions, what I've learned, what I've become, who I am. My light is Dan Cooper. But if I am believing darkness, if darkness has filled my eye, and my eye is evil, then that which I believe to be true is actually false. Everything I've done is false. And that's what I learned in Vietnam when I was joining this church. My whole life was a lie. I couldn't find one aspect of my life that was good. My whole life was a lie, every aspect. And rebuilding it according to gospel principles has taken me 55 years. And I still have a long ways to go. Thank goodness I'm still alive. Now, people will say, oh, you're just a conspiracy theorist. You're a disinformation disseminator. Okay. Everybody has to make their own decisions. Everybody comes to God in their own way. But let me tell you, false traditions, collectively, institutionally, you live in a sea of darkness. Everything around you is dark and you don't know it. The only way is to listen to the Spirit of Christ, the light of Christ that touches each one of us. Hundreds of times every day we get these little warm tones and tiny miracles. God trying to get us to do what's right, trying to tell us not to do that, it's wrong. Hundreds of times every day we get these little revelations, warm tones, tiny miracles. Members of the Church of Jesus Christ have been given the gift of the Holy Ghost. Pay attention. Best way to do it is get to know the voice of God, voice of the Spirit. How do you do that? You read the scriptures every day. You write about it every day. Okay. and then you listen to it and obey, even if it means quitting your job, even if it means getting a 0 and F in a credit college course, even if it means changing your major, even if it means not marrying a particular person. Yeah, whatever it means, you be sure to do it. Thank you.